We all knew that Hogwarts Legacy was going to struggle when it got to Game Awards season because journalists were so furious at this game's launch at the beginning of the year, and snowflakes were so upset that people supported a J.K. Rowling title. But now we have found out that the Game Awards has actually snubbed Hogwarts Legacy, and not only is it not nominated for Game of the Year, but it is not making an appearance at the award show at all whatsoever. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. Now, this is a very unfortunate situation, right? There have been many good games to release this year, don't get me wrong. I think that there have been so many fantastic titles, and even the ones that kind of fell short for me, like Spider-Man 2 still had some elements that were decent, but there were so many people rooting for Hogwarts Legacy to be at the Game Awards, to potentially be in a Game of the Year slot, and when they announced these just yesterday, people became furious because not only is Hogwarts Legacy not in the Game of the Year nominee running, but it's not at the show at all whatsoever. They're not even trying to hide their bias at this point, and it's unfortunate because even though our expectations for the Game Awards are pretty low, we still all figured that with how much hype was behind this title, with how many billions of dollars it has made and the millions of people that have played it, they would have at least given it some kind of attention, but they didn't do that. But I had actually put up a tweet thread that's gotten quite a bit of attention, and I said the fact that Hogwarts Legacy didn't get nominated for anything for the Game Awards just proves their committee is more worried about protecting their own politics than providing good content to the audiences they originally created the show for. And it is so true because this was a massive title to release, but they clearly did not include it because they are either afraid of backlash from the snowflakes on social media who hate JK and anything that, has to do with her properties, or they simply didn't want to support it because they do not believe that they should be supporting a title like that. I'm not saying that I'm furious it's not winning Game of the Year because there's tons of great games that have come out this year, and I can accept titles like Mario or Zelda winning, but it deserves to at least be nominated and given a chance. It made billions of dollars and was one of the largest releases of the year. Snubbing it just shows how precious politics are to them, and they're refusing to acknowledge the success of hundreds of developers who made this game. That is so sad because this title did have a lot of love and a lot of passion that was put into it. Yes, there were some controversial things that they did, like adding trans characters and, no gender in character creation, so I do understand that there still was some controversy, but overall it was a very solid experience, and J.K. Rowling lover or hater, this game had a lot going for it and deserved at least a spot in the nominations list. Defend the Game Awards all you want, but their jury is made up of activists from places, as you can see, like Game Rant, GameSpot, Inverse, IGN, PC Gamer, Polygon, The Verge is on here, Pride.com, you've even got Wired over here, so their jury is made up of pure activists, and these are a lot of places that even refuse to cover this game over politics. And instead of acknowledging that this game exists, they decided to slight hundreds of developers that worked on this project simply because they don't like JK, who created Harry Potter. There are millions of fans around the world who absolutely love this franchise and millions of people that loved this game, but instead of just accepting the fact that it exists, they're slighting it. JK had nothing to do with this title. She did not help write it. She was not a producer on it. She did not get to see it early. She did not help help create this in any way, shape, or form, but because she simply believes in biological gender and that men are men and females are females, they have decided to slight this title simply because she has a stance that the majority of people across the world agree with. The nominees for the Game of the Year this year are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't agree with half of these, okay? Alan Wake 2 was a bland game that they tried to make into this twisty story that just didn't work, and half the time you weren't even playing as Alan Wake. Baldur's Gate 3 was surrounded in controversy because, of course, the bear scenes, all of the Wizards of the Coast meddling that happened with this title, and it has been in early access for 3 whole years at this point. I personally do not think the games that have been in early access like that should be in the Game of the Year running. We have Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which was a big letdown. Resident Evil 4, which, in my opinion, remakes should not be on this list. I think that remakes and early access games should have their own special categories, because Resident Evil 4 does deserve to get attention, but I don't think that remakes should be on this list. And then Mario Wonder, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, both solid contenders in my opinion. But there is no way that they should be putting something like Resident Evil 4 that's a remake on this list, or Baldur's Gate 3 that's been in early access for years, or even Alan Wake 2 that was just a mediocre title in general. But unfortunately for them, they have faced some massive backlash. Now, there are people pointing out, like, no Starfield, huge W. Yes, Starfield is not in the Game of the Year running, but it has been nominated in several other categories. But people are saying things like Hogwarts is Game of the Year. Hogwarts deserved to be on this list. People are also joking about things like Kong and Gollum, like, where are these games? They were amazing. I mean, this game has very solid ratings. Going over to Metacritic, it's got an 84 critic and an 8.5 user, plus it just released on Switch, and that's going pretty well. And then we don't have updated sales numbers, but we do know that Hogwarts Legacy had amassed over $1 billion in a very short amount of time. It's just taking as part of the company's earnings call, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO had said Hogwarts Legacy has amassed more than $1 billion in retail sales and over 15 million units sold worldwide to date. And today the team is launching the game on PS4 and Xbox One platforms. And this was in May, and the game released in February. So that's only a couple of months' time. Never mind, now that the year has progressed, this number must be even larger than we could even expect. But they just do not care. I mean, the Game Awards snubbing Hogwarts Legacy just shows how out of touch these people are with the gaming community and how they put politics first. I mean, a lot of these people are activists or want to be activists, and that's why they came to the gaming industry, because they couldn't make it at, the Washington Posts that they wanted to write for. They could not make it at the sites that they truly wanted to be a part of, and it's just sad to see that there are quite a lot of people defending this decision, saying, ugh, the disgusting wizard game. You're just a transphobe if you still support it. No, it was a genuinely good game. One of the best games, in my opinion, currently. Still my game of the year. And even though there were a few solid titles on the Game of the Year nominee list, I just think that it deserved to be part of this event. It is unfortunate, but not very surprising. We knew that even if it was going to, make an appearance at this show, it was probably going to get snubbed. Everyone was going to get excited and go, oh my god, they're giving Hogwarts Legacy all these nominees, but then it was going to win nothing, and they were going to try to embarrass them. So I'm glad they at least didn't do that to the developers. But this just shows how kind of irrelevant the Game Awards is as well. I can't say that I'm all that surprised, but I can say that I am very disappointed, and I know, obviously, a lot of other people are as well. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and, of course, found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And, of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.